Aloha everyone, this is Arado and we're here to talk about the upcoming banner featuring Shuzer, Cindy Campbell, and Berva. Before we start, the art we have on display is the Bunny Emelia done by Dahlia-san. So I will add Dahlia-san's social media pages in the video description, but you can see it on the art. So Dahlia-san has Twitter and Pixib. So when you have the chance, please visit Dahlia-san's page. Dahlia-san has a lot of artwork with blue and rouge. So you would notice in Dahlia-san's Twitter handle that the red and blue icon, so that corresponds to rouge and blue. So yeah, thank you so much, Dahlia-san. And with that, we're gonna start with the banner rundown. First off would be, I would think the best in the banner, which is Shuzer. So Shuzer is like one of those Liam like DPS where you know how in with Liam's scenario that you would charge up bullets and then keep on firing those anti-material shot or quick draw or what have you. So that goes the same kinda for Shuzer. Shuzer has this skill number 2, which is to eject Clawbit. I thought it was dispatch, but eject Clawbit. So what it does is it buffs Shuzer with 3 times to use Clawbit Assault. So that means whenever he does an attack after that, he would be able to use it. He would follow up with Clawbit Assault, and then he would be able to follow up with that for 3 times as long as he has the buff. And then that that Clawbit eject buff can be stackable as much as you can. So depending on how many times Shuzer has acted, that he would be able to stack, I think, as much as 3, if not more if possible, given that you have other BP battery source. So what I have recorded prior to this video is a battle with Metal Black. I'm using Bunny Emelia, Shuzer, Cindy Campbell, Bunny, and then Liam. So the only BP battery I have is Cindy Campbell, which is a 25% chance. So if you have more to that, like say the latest Minstrel in JP, giving BP +1 every turn with Oratorio as long as he has BP, that you would be able to spam Clawbit as much as possible. And then with the change for spread shot, that it has moral down for 2 turns for a small effect, that it allows Shuzer to be able to be usable in hard content, not just a plain DPS like Liam, but rather be able to do moral down as needed, because whatever attack that Shuzer does, it would follow up with the Clawbit Assault. And then lastly, the difference between Shuzer and Liam is always on 1 LP. Shuzer would be on 6 LP, and then every time he attacks, he would buff himself with all status attribute and then the global change having BP +1, allowing him to do possibly more Clawbit eject and then be able to stack more of that as the battle goes on. So yeah, I would say between Shuzer and Liam would still deliver the best damage, because Shuzer needs to worry about the BP to be able to use Clawbit eject to buff himself with more Clawbit assault, so that he can stack more damage compared to Liam, where he charges the bullets and then be done with it. But yeah, if you want to play it safe and you have the jewels, probably pull for Shuzer, because Shuzer is, I would say, very very useful in terms of dealing damage and covering slash and pierce at that too. And then also lastly to consider is he is a gun user just like Liam, that they would be able to do as good damage as possible. Also lastly, he is usable in hard content because he's able to stack heat up and defense up, 45% for heat up and then 30% for defense up. So that's pretty decent for defenses, you know, for hard content. Something. They have something rather than nothing. Alright. Sorry, that was too much for Shuzer because I know I would say Shuzer would be the most questionable in the banner with regards to the clawbit eject function and how it compares to Liam. And you know, having a different option rather than like in the egg battle worrying about Starquake because you're using Liam. Now you can use Shuzer if you choose to. Okay, so now we move on to Cindy Campbell. So Cindy Campbell, very straightforward. She has a lot of utility, but all of those are a 25% chance. So one is a dex buff at large dex and intelligence, I believe at large effect, and then another one at dex and HP. Dex at medium effect, and then the other one HP and BP plus 1. All of those are at turn start. All of those are also 25% chance per roll. So yeah, 25% chance is a little low, but you know, RNG could be smiling towards you and you would have some kind of good luck and be able to have all those buffs every single turn before you know it. But the main benefit of getting Cindy Campbell is weapon box. So weapon box, epee and bow, not epee, short sword or bow user would be able to benefit from that. But the most who would take benefit from it would be gun user, because weapon box gives you moral up, medium, secret technique, gun, and then I believe an extra dex buff if I remember correctly. So if the party is not using a gun other than Cindy Campbell, then they would be able to benefit from moral up and then the dex buff. But if there are other gun users like what I have in the video right now, that they would be able to take full benefit of the weapon box. And weapon box is also considered a fast skill, so you would be able to spam it before any other DPS would be able to attack. But in this case, because my Cindy Campbell is a little under leveled, that's why Liam always goes faster than Cindy Campbell. And then other than the weapon box, she has agility and strength debuffing. As you know, in Remembrance, you would be able to benefit from that, especially if you keep on debuffing agility. The dodge strategy works in Remembrance. I believe I tested that for Deathmaster when I had White Rose with Pompoko or the Doom from the sword style. Pompoko gives agility buff to everyone, and before you know it, we were dodging attacks even though we are not debuffing agility, because in Remembrance the boss would cleanse debuff a lot of times, but you know, having to debuff agility or strength from Cindy Campbell would help you with Remembrance in a way, but not as much as having weapon box, because you know, Remembrance you're stuck with using gun user, so they would be able to take full benefit from weapon box. Alright, so lastly we have Berva, which is unfortunately falls a little short compared to Shuzer, Cindy Campbell, and Cindy Campbell. So Berva is a counter unit. So skill number 2 puts him in a counter stance, but defensive counter stance. So I think that would be taking damage and then be able to do counter, versus say the likes of Seki Shusai, where they put themselves in a dodge counter stance, so they would dodge and then be able to do counter. And then the counter that Berva does is unfortunately just damage. So unlike others like Boston or Seki Shusai doing debuffs. And then the other one thing you can use Berva would be AoE. So knockout plus, he would be able to open the round using that if you need a strong AoE. And then lastly, and this is a theory, that's why I put a question mark, So it could be possible to have a double counter if you do overdrive with skill number 2. Take note that for Berva, when he uses skill number 2, it's an active skill compared to Seki Shusai, where he directly goes in counter stance as a support skill. So for Seki Shusai, he would be able to utilize overdrive, and then I remember Seki Shusai has hyper overtension, so he would be able to have 15% more damage on overdrive. So every time he counters with skill number 2, he would be able to take benefit from the overdrive extra damage, as well as the extra overdrive as well as the follow-up when doing an overdrive attack. For Berva, when you do an overdrive for skill number 2, it would do the skill number 2 with the overdrive extra damage, and then goes in the defensive counter stance, because I think Berva would be able to buff himself with the counter stance from skill number 2 and the Berva revenge that he gets from overdrive. So that's my theory. The only limitation that's written on the skill description is as long as the character doesn't go on parry, that they would be able to do counter properly. So yeah, hopefully that third bullet point is correct. I'm sorry I'm unable to validate that because I don't have Berva on JP. I think I saw that on Twitter before, but I can't really find the video prior to recording this. That's why I just put it out there, maybe for somebody to test it out. Alright, so that would be the banner rundown for this banner. Personally, I would love to get Shuzer and Cindy Campbell, but more towards Shuzer, and then I will stop. I would love to get Cindy Campbell because it would help my gun remembrance battle, but you know, I love a lot of Saga Frontier 1 characters that my gun lineup is pretty much set for remembrance battle. So yeah, I'm kind of on the edge for Cindy Campbell, but since I am kind of low on jewels right now, that I am gonna invest a little, try to see if I can pull Shuzer or whoever SS that I can pull. Hopefully not Berva, but if not, well, oh well, I get Berva, right? So, and then yeah, Shuzer, other than for hard content, by the way, you can use him for AoE farming because he can default with sadistic shot and then goes to spread shot by default. So, and then he also has a future school style which gives attack boost to self and to the party with the odd and even turn condition, and then he gives a moral up as well with a fast attribute. So that's one thing to consider too, why I wanted to pull for Shuzer, because that that school banner I believe has red and Socho from what I remember, and I would love to get Socho even though I don't have Saga Soul style. And then yeah, Berva, if you have counter Boston or Seki Shusai, you're pretty much set. You don't need to chase for Berva. The other thing to consider too would be Lunar New Year banner should be coming up pretty soon. So I know Axe is a little lacking with good DPS, so having Balmante from that banner would be really good. If you choose to get Orgnana, go ahead with that. I don't know what the changes are going to be, but right now as it is in JP, I would love to get Balmante because it's at the same time that's the same banner as Matcha, so I would love to get Matcha. Getting Leonard is a bonus because I already have New Year's Ilden. And then the other one would be UDX Darius if you're wanting to get that 1% chance to get him. And then the other 2% would go to the other Platinum Annie and then Platinum Guelaha. But between Orgnana and Darius, I would love to get Darius personally. So yeah, that's my pool plan. Right now I'm playing it conservatively. Hopefully we all get lucky if you choose to pull for this banner. If not, it's always a good thing to save because you know the pace we have in global is pretty fast. in terms of banner releases, and then they could throw a curveball at us and do a global exclusive banner that would be more interesting than the upcoming banners. Nobody knows. Yeah, thank you so much again for listening, everyone, and just wanted to do a quick shout out again to Dahlia-san for the bunny Emelia art. And then also, I want to give a quick shout out to Hans and Jans. Hans from Reddit, and then Jans from Discord, and then Rain from Discord, because Hans and Jans, they do the early release of data translated from the YouTube video from the Taiwan YouTube channel. And then Rain maintains the rsrsdb.com, where some of the assets come from, and then if the data is available already, that's where I look to have a full view, including the changes. So they have been extremely instrumental with all of these videos, and I can't stress enough how thankful I am for the three of them. All right, thank you so much again, everyone, and see you in the next video or stream.